Good afternoon. So the next point is CMOS scaling. So what is scaling? So it defines as the reduction of the dimension of different parameters of the MOSFET. So why scaling is required? It increases the device packing density, it improves speed or frequency response, it improves current drive, that is transconductance, and decrease the power consumption. So before going to the types of scaling, we will see what is technology scaling. So VLSI fabrication processes are being aimed at achieving a smaller line width and size for higher packing density. This scaling down must also improve the circuit performance. The several indicators of microcircuit technology are count of gates on chip, minimum size of device, power dissipation, maximum frequency of operation, and die size. Scaling improves the figure of merit by shrinking the dimensions of transistor and interconnection between them. So there are some merits of scaling. So it increases the chip density, that is more number of gate count on a single chip, and it improves second merit is it improved chip performance, that is increased speed and reduced power consumption. Third is it improved a device characteristic. Fourth merit is it reduced parasitic capacitance. Next, reduced interconnect delay between the device. And the last merit of scaling is chip cost reduces considerably. There are some demerits also, demerits of scaling. So one is, even though overall power consumption reduces, but power consumption per unit area increases due to scaling. Hence, device gets heated up during its operation. Second demerit is, because of the scaling down, the carrier mobility reduces, which in turn reduces the gain of the device. Next demerit is, the reduced conductor size decreases the current carrying capacity, and high package density increases heat generated, which is to be dissipated by forced cooling. So these are the merits and demerits of the scaling. So there is one lambda based design rule. The lambda based design rules specify every dimension of system in terms of a parameter lambda, which is subsequently assigned a value such that the features resulting out of the design are supported by the fabrication process. The technology used decides the value of lambda, and lambda is defined as the maximum distance by which a geometrical feature can stray from another feature with a suitable safety factor. Lambda is maximum misalignment of a feature from its intended position G. Defining lambda makes design independent of the process. Therefore, chip can be sealed to any ratio. That means today's design remain usable when line width are reduced and by advances in future technology. Now, the types of scaling. So, basically there are three types, that is constant field scaling, constant voltage scaling, and lateral scaling. So constant field scaling we can say constant E scaling. For constant voltage we can say constant V scaling. So constant in constant field scaling it requires to reduce a power supply voltage with the reduction of feature size. That is constant field scaling says that the characteristic of the devices can be maintained and the basic operational characteristic preserved if critical parameters of device are scaled in accordance to a given criteria. The scaled device is obtained by applying a dimensionless factor x to my dimensions device voltage concentration densities. Constant voltage scaling it provides a voltage compatibility with older circuit technology. Also, increasing electric field leads to a velocity saturation, mobility degradation, sub threshold decay. In constant voltage scaling, voltage VDD is kept constant and process is scaled. When device is scaled down by the dimension 1 by x, then its current density increases by x cube, whereas the gate shrinks increases the current density by x square. And the third one, that is in lateral scaling, only gate length is scaled called gate shrink. The lateral scaling is easy to implement. So here the package density increases many-fold. Two scaling factors 1 by alpha and 1 by beta are used in order to cater for all the three scaling models. So there are some scaling factors for the device parameters such as gate capacitance per unit area, gate capacitance, parasitic capacitance, carrier density in channel resistance, maximum frequency of operation, gate delay, saturation current density, switching energy per gate, power dissipation per unit area, speed, power, product. So these are the different parameters. Now there are some limitations of scaling also. There are some limitations of scaling. The scaling is bound to have a limit on miniaturization, and such considerations are discussed here. So first is substrate doping. The substrate doping level has a direct relation with the built-in potential so long as VB is small in comparison with VDD. This dependence of VB on VDD is acceptable. However, scaling may bring VB substantially comparable to VDD, and hence substrate doping level becomes critical. The substrate doping also indicate many other characteristic of the device fabricated on it, and substrate doping needs a considerable attention. Next is scaling factor for the substrate doping. So scaling involves reducing the channel length of the MOS transistor. However, it has to be ensured that the depletion width are also enough scaled down so that the drain and source depletion region do not meet each other. The built-in junction potential VB is KTQ by log of ND NB by NR square. So ND is a source or drain doping, B is the substrate level doping. And the third is scaling factor for depletion width. In scaling of the substrate doping, increasing substrate doping level is found to be advantageous. So with increasing substrate doping level, the threshold voltage also increases, which is contrary to scaling down requirement. And there is one more limit of scaling due to current density. When optic fiber interconnects are not used, the most widely used material for forming interconnections in VLSI chip is high purity aluminum. Although aluminum has high conductivity, the scaling down of dimensions also increases the current density in interconnects by the same factor for the constant field scaling. Hence, current density through interconnects increases. There is an upper limit to the value of allowable current density above which interconnects are likely to be burned out owing to metal migration. Next is channel length modulation. Channel length modulation. So the inversion layer charge Q1 represent the total mobile electron charge on the surface and its expression at the surface at the source end of the channel. So equation for this is given, and the inversion layer charge at the drain end of the channel is expressed by this equation. At the edge of the saturation, when the drain to source voltage reaches a saturation, the inversion layer charge at the drain and becomes 0. So we can approximate the inversion layer charge at drain end by Q. So when BDS equal to VDS 80, the channel is pinched off at the drain end. Further increase of the drain to source voltage results in even a larger pinched off portion of the channel. So effective channel length is reduced to L dash. The pinch off point moves from the drain end of the channel towards the source end with increasing BDS. So the electrons traveling from the source to drain traverse the inverted channel segment of the length L, and they are injected into the depletion region of delta L, which separates the pinch off point from the drain edge. So we must modify the equation for the saturation current so that it reflect the dependency on VDS, and the saturation current will increase with increasing VDS. The equation for the current is given here. The reduction in the channel length will increase in positive drain voltage. So the drain current ID increases with the reduction of the channel length, and this phenomenon is called as channel length modulation. Here diagram is shown, which here in this diagram it shows the source, gate and drain and the channel length. Then it occurs when transistor is in saturation region. That is, saturation region means what? When VGS is greater than VTH and VDS is greater than VGS minus VTH, and ID increases slightly with increasing VDS, and the pinch off point moves towards the source as VDS increases. The length of the channel becomes shorter with increasing VDS. Next is hot electron effect. So, at high velocity carriers drifting near the drain gain extra energy called hot carriers. These hot carriers tunnel through a gate oxide, thus reducing the total current flow from the source to drain, and it reduces the input impedance. The technique is used in floating gate devices to increase the threshold by trapping the electrons in the floating gate, and to reduce the hot electron effect the drain is lightly doped, resulting in the less electric field created for the carriers. So velocity saturation: when a strong enough electric field is applied, the carrier velocity in the semiconductor reaches the maximum value saturation velocity. The carriers lose energy through increased levels of interaction with the lattice collision and by emitting phonons. तिकडे 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 सरळ. So velocity saturation: when a strong enough electric field is applied, the carriers lose the energy through increased levels of interaction with the lattice collision and by emitting phonons. So we assume the carrier velocity is proportional to the E field. At high field, this ceases to be true. Here the diagram for the velocity is shown. So velocity reaches VST, electrons and holes values are given. Then the low field velocity versus field curve is given here, and the equation for this also shown. For high electric field, the velocity versus field curve can be VE is equal to V sat, that is V saturation. Next is field dependent mobility models. So the Schottky gradual channel approximation is assumed as V is equal to mu of E. These are some equations related to the field dependent mobility models. Then another model is the two region model, which assumes two region, a low field region and a high field region. So first diagram shows the field dependent mobility and second diagram shows the two region model. Next is at high E, the carrier velocity rolls off. The carrier scatters off atoms in silicon lattice. So velocity reaches V saturation. The better model for this and the equations are given here. And here the equation for the ideal transistor on current increases with VD square. Equation is given. Then velocity saturated on current increases with VDO, and real transistors are partially velocity saturated. These are some of the equations related to the current increased. So the next part, in the next lecture we will see the remaining part of the topic. Thank you.